Welcome in all you bulls as we have got Valorant up tonight. I'm John, joined alongside Rishi as we've got USF Green Valorant facing off against Louisiana Tech. And, you know, first of all, how are you doing today, Rishi?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing great, honestly. I got some studying in after work, so honestly a good day. I'm prepping for my midterm. All y'all, if you're having midterms, please study up and focus on those grades, you know, student first, all that jazz. But in Valorant, we just had a pretty big patch drop today, and if I'm not mistaken, players are playing on it. So first big and notable news, Icebox changed a ton.
Yeah, there's so many changes that happen with Icebox. Different like map areas, such as like the yellow bin on the left side of the map is like moved vertically. There's gonna be a lot of changes of how people are playing each site. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it is going to be super, super interesting. I'm excited. You know, they're changing up how B site plays. They've extended the bomb site area so that way you still get that little cubby. But they actually got rid of, you know, the box that people used to shoot through that then Riot said, we're going to make this not able to shoot through. And now they just got rid of it. And so, you know, there's all these little changes they're doing. They did a little bit of changes towards mid. They're getting rid of that little headshot glitch space. So all y'all in ranked who just get opt down and can't even see the opponent's head, that's going away. But what's really relevant is Icebox was the first map picked today, picked by USF Green, and we're going to get to see all of those changes live, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, we were talking about it before. We were assuming that they would like get rid of the map because it's new. The patch came out today. Like, it's going to be a whole new like variety of things that these teams are going to have to think about because of these changes. So it'll be interesting to see how they go off the bat, you know, on this first map.
Yeah, how they apply it, because, you know, you sort of get into that muscle memory where there's parts of the map that you just accept and that you just assume are there and you're just taking for granted. Now they've been changed up, and we're going to have a different approach to that. And also in the patch, pretty big, we got, some pretty notable buffs and nerfs to controllers primarily, and also some changes to Yoru.
Yeah, Yoru was like one of the bigger changes that I saw like on social media specifically. Everyone was talking about how he could like fake his teleport, his movement, what's it called?
Yeah, his footsteps. I mean, effectively, they've been buffed up to just be a full like clone, and thankfully, they're not allowing you to have two of them. You just have one, but they're, you know, making it that it can trip abilities, it can trip traps, it can do all that stuff while still being a full body clone. You only get one of them, but still, you know, on Bind, which is going to be our second map of the day, I definitely think Yoru is going to get picked up. A couple weeks ago, after they first implemented a couple of those changes just onto the feet and not making it a full body clone, I did see a lot of Yoru on Bind, and it's fun. You know, you get the shorty sneaks out of your ultimate, you get you know, shutting down stuff like Killjoy utility just from being able to send a clone through it and trigger those traps, you know. And it also interacts with Boombot, which I think is really cool, where you can throw out these this clone and it just makes the Boombot explode. And I'm ready to see all of these dynamics at work.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see like how these players use these new buffs and nerfs, especially with like Brimstone and Astra, and see how like they choose their new setups for each different map.
Yeah, and I mean, Brimstone and Astra sort of had fallen into this, you know, must-pick category, and now, you know, they nerfed her number of stars. It's gone down from 5 to 4. They made it so that the cooldown on her Whirlpool and her Stun are both getting increased, so it's going to be a lot tougher to just do those in rapid succession. And also the star cooldown. I think it's gone up from 25 seconds to 45 seconds, something like that, where it's like when you recall a star, when you can replace it. So that is pretty big. And they also buffed Omen. They made his smokes last a little bit longer. They made them move faster. And I think they also buffed the cost of his teleport, but they did increase the cost of his smokes, which makes sense.
Yeah. Especially with these new patches coming out today, we're going to see how players like use them in these like competitive settings.
Yeah, and especially the competitive setting, I think that's going to be the most relevant, as we are going to be getting into lobby, getting into game very, very shortly. I believe there's just one player missing from both teams, so just probably someone getting their water, running to the bathroom, all that stuff you got to do before your competitive match. And we should be getting into game very, very shortly. Also, on the controller tab, you know, Astra wasn't the only one hit. I think she was the one that was hit the hardest, but then Viper also got some nerfs to her smokes. I think the cooldown for both her, I don't remember the letters necessarily, but for her smoke screen and for the wall, you know, the orb smoke versus the wall, those both, the cooldowns have gone up, I think, from 6 to 8 seconds on recast when it comes to after you run out of smoke. So I think that's pretty big. Just sort of changing those timings. And as we know, in Valorant, timing is huge. So interested to see how that works out. And Brimstone, they buffed the stim beacon. You know, not a huge deal, but I think 15% move speed could be more impactful than people give it credit.
Yeah, and especially with like characters like Neon coming out, that 15% move speed, she'll be flying out across the map, seeing how she can move. This will be very, very like cool to see. Very impressive to see in a competitive setting.
Yeah, I was, just doing a little brainstorming before the show today, and I was thinking, what if you just got this really aggressive, disgusting, like Brimstone, Breach, Jet, Neon composition with like a Sova or a Sky on top of it, and then they look at a site, they drop their smokes, and they run at you. And that sounds terrifying, but it also sounds like it could be really fun to watch.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting start to our first few maps, and it should be interesting to see like how it goes through, especially this first map, Icebox.
Yeah.
Which is confusing for me.
Exactly. It's confusing because we have changes. It's confusing because, when it was pretty much just pick Astra or Viper, maybe now you don't want to pick them or maybe you do have to pick them, but you have to play them a little bit differently. And now with Neon, I think entering the competitive pool, I think it's been, the 2-3 weeks necessary for her to become, legal in some of these competitive spaces, that people are going to be playtesting her. They're going to be trying her out because I know the same thing happened with Astra, same thing happened with Chamber, where everyone's like, I don't know how good they'll be competitively, and then they sweep the competitive meta.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, how like Chambers could like take over the Jet main pick because of how useful he is on the field. His guns he could pick out just from like buying it. Like it's so impressive.
Yeah, you can buy those rounds in your Headhunter. You can take the ultimate, that Tour de Force, and you just become a new Jet with an op clutch because you can teleport away the second that you run out. And then unlike the dash, it's not permanently on cooldown for the rest of the game until you get 2 kills. So there's that dynamic at play where you have that increased flexibility in your very aggressive opper role, I guess. And so all of these changes just make me so excited because I love watching competitive Valorant, and I think it's really fun to see how these players who are much better than myself take these patches and they run with them.
Yeah, this should be interesting to see, especially off this first map. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think excited is really all that we can say, as I think we are just moments away from being able to get in a game, get in a lobby, see exactly how these teams approach their agent compositions. And also for y'all wondering what the map lineup for today is, we already mentioned Icebox. And of course, Bind is going to be our second map. Third map, if we get to it, is going to be Haven. So, the 3-site menace to Valorant that sort of always existed. And I honestly was a little surprised that both of these teams, they didn't want to pick something like an Ascent or a Split that maybe feels more traditional, with the 3-lane setup.
Yeah. This seems a little bit more hectic for defense, especially, but we'll see how it plays.
Yeah, we will see how it plays. Icebox and Haven, 2 of, I think, the most attack-sided. Actually, no, now with Fracture and Breeze in the map pool, Haven no longer feels like it's just this attack side destruction, where it used to just be like, oh my gosh, Haven's so attack side. And then you look at Fracture and it's like, oh my gosh, we're getting pinched from 4 angles. And Riot just keeps making weird maps. And it's fun, but it's also really weird to watch. And I actually haven't had a chance to watch a collegiate map on Fracture because every single time that I've covered collegiate here and other places, it's always banned. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
So honestly, just back to basics, Bind, Icebox, Haven with Icebox. I think it was the 4th or 5th map added to the pool.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams play with it. It's one of USF's traditionally best maps, but we're going to have to see how they apply, these changes in the map to their game plan, because I feel like it changes how you play. The wall setups for Viper, the smoke setups for Astra and Brimstone, and Omen even, they don't work in the same way anymore when you have these minor tweaks to the map that you don't think are huge, but then wind up manifesting themselves in pretty real ways.
Yeah, the flashes that could be used on both sides are now going to be a little bit more useless depending on where they're supposed to affect. With the new bottom storage area on the B side being completely covered off now, it's going to be very weird to see how players adapt to these changes.
Yeah, it is going to be weird, and we're going to have to see how they all adapt after a quick break. We're finishing up the lobby, getting that formalized for all y'all, but we're going to go to a quick break before we cut straight into the action here as we're following week 5 of ECAC. USF Green up against Louisiana Tech. You're not going to want to miss it. We've got all these changes coming up, and here is the first place you can watch them. Stick around. And welcome back. Everything got situated. It looked like some Riot clients were bugging out for players on both sides, but we are about to get into game. On Icebox, we've got USF on the defense and Louisiana Tech on the attack. And I just want to see how they make their comps, because I feel like this is just going to say so much on how this map's going to go.
Yeah, true. We already had an instant lock by Riz with Jet.
I mean, that's standard though. You know, that's nothing fun. That's nothing exciting. But we do have Chobear on the Brimstone hover. So fingers crossed that goes through. I want to see Brimstone. I think that the power creep of some of the agents that has happened throughout this game's release has just been so rough for a lot of the OG agents, I guess, if you will. You know, your original cast of characters. So I like that they're trying to bring Brimstone back into the fold and maybe change his identity a little bit. And we are seeing the Viper locked in for USF. I like that as opposed to the Astra. I think it's quite a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, if we
select your agent.
Brimstone's locked in. I'm excited. I'm happy.
I think we're also going to have a Brimstone on USF as well.
Ooh, double controller, no initiator. That would be very interesting. Okay, and I think they're going to lock in the Sova, because if they went with double initiator, I mean, double controller, no initiator, you just have no information, and that's really tough to play, I think. But this is so different from both teams. You know, like we have the Jet and we have the Chamber on both sides, but other than that, there's no overlap.
Yeah. There's no healer as well on the attacking side. There should be.
No, there is. There's a Sky.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm tripping. My fault. But yeah, this should be interesting. Should be an interesting game to watch.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. And honestly, like, this is just such a different dynamic. And there it is, USF versus Louisiana as we are jumping into game. And I mean, it's just such different identities. You have this Sage, this slower style, I think, and you're running like the double Sentinel. But I guess you could say that like neither Sage or Cypher are like true Sentinels. They're like each filling in half of a role in a way, I guess, where it's like Sage has your healing and some slows, whereas Chamber's your more traditional like utility, movement, that kind of stuff, that information game. But it's just gonna be played out so differently. I mean, there's a KJ on the side of Louisiana Tech. I don't think she's seen much play on Icebox as of late, so this will be cool. Intriguing.
It seems like they're going to be pushing B-side off the start.
Yeah, and it's a little different than what seemed to be the standard. Bomba Clat able to find that first kill, immediately traded by Chobear. And now Rizzo finding that ulti orb on the Jet, going for the single sheriff, you know, all-in style. I like it. I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm. We got Viper on A, still trying to watch out. Hopefully, like staying for a rotate.
Yeah, definitely just anchoring the site. Keeping it clean, keeping it together. Ooh, I like this movement by Canderson, but it doesn't quite work out. 90-29, able to shoot him down with the Headhunter, but only 5 HP. Going to be running over to the Sky. Louisiana Tech try and get healed. Actually, the Sky was the one who went down first, so no heals available for Louisiana Tech. And now Mango trying to hold on. Chobear, there's that Stim Beacon, there's that speed, and you can already see some of those changes to the site itself on Icebox. This plant does go down for the Bulldogs. House side of USF trying to find a way in. Do have that Viper smoke, so it gives them a little space, but the spray down can be hard to manage. Rizzo goes down, but 90-29 still finding kills with that 5 HP, and it's all up to Paged. Do have the wall available, but so many bodies coming over from Yellow Box. This is going to be tough to hold on to. Just going to try and commit the plant. Not enough gas in the tank. And 90-29 with a clean little 4K to start things off.
Yeah, that was good. Was it positioning from Louisiana Tech? They were able to like take control of B off the start. It was hard for USF to like get a footing into the ground.
Yeah, they never really felt secured. And I mean, obviously with that being that first member on B site getting taken down early, then you're leaving the Viper back to anchor. It's really tough to hold on to. And I think without any flashes on USF side, it also makes life very difficult to just like jump into a space.
Yeah. Louisiana Tech going towards A. We should see like a good rotate from Sova on B side, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see if that rotate does come through, but both teams still playing the information game. Got to remember, this is Louisiana's bonus roundup. USF just sort of working with what they've got. Really not much of an investment, and indeed, those smokes going to clear up a ton of space. And 90-29 finding a kill onto his clone in Canderson. And... or is it 4K? You know, there's a lot of different ways I feel like you can read that name, but we'll have to see after the fact. 10-10-10-10. Finding another one in the teleport away from 90-29, and it does look like it is just going to be a clean round from Louisiana Tech as Bombaclat maybe just going to look to pick off 1 or 2 kills if he can. Honestly, you probably want to die here anyway, just because of you're going to get less money if you save up, and you won't be able to buy up next round. So clean round from Louisiana Tech. Take the opening 2 rounds.
Yeah, it was a hard hold, especially since it was guns versus pistols at this point, so it was really difficult. Hopefully, this round will show a better side of USF.
Yeah, we'll see if USF can answer back. I mean, honestly, the first gun round can be pretty telling when you're going up against that bonus. How do you play into a bonus? What angles do you hold? Do you allow their sort of gun discrepancy to come into play? And it's an interesting initial setup. It looks like they might be trying to just concede a lot of space towards A once again from USF, but they are getting the jet in the chamber set up. So I'll see if Rizzo can do anything on this Marshall. Not going to spot anyone too early, but Squirt with a nice early pick on a 90-29. Bye-bye chamber. It's now just posturing from both sides. That guiding light, not finding anyone.
The rotate coming from Viper and Sage.
Yeah, it actually looks like on the side of USF that Viper is holding on, but honestly, Squirt is doing such a great job, and there's another kill on a Drippy. There's one on a Rizzo, and Squirt is certainly heating up. It's all up to Chobear. Does find 4K, and now does go very, very low, and Squirt with a clean little 4K as USF strike back on their gun round.
Yeah, it was such a good use of angles, especially with Squirt being able to jet out of every angle as as soon as he's getting shot at. I think USF will be able to hold this next site. Rizzo we see has an op for the B site.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how that op does come into play.
This pick is gonna be very important.
Yeah, this opening pick could be very important. But honestly, I would like to see Paige just take a more passive approach. You're playing Viper, you're trying to anchor, and if they're having the Sova be their second man on that B site, just play for info. You don't need to take those challenges to gain some sort of advantage.
Yeah, also, their positioning is a little different. They're playing a little bit slower. They're not forcing a site.
Yeah, and this is just, a nice default I like out of Louisiana. They're just going for something standard, trying to find anyone lacking, and ooh, Bomba nearly was as that shot goes just wide out of Rizzo. Drippy still holding on to this A site, so maybe just playing the lurk as the sentinel. You don't have much aggression if you are playing that Killjoy, so really more for post plants and lurking.
Yeah, there's not a lot of aggression coming out of this Louisiana team this round, especially with both teams having guns. This is kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to get as much information on how USF likes to play their gun rounds to start things off. But there was that marker Drippy getting spotted out as being on this A site, and it does look like the bomb is coming forward. So 10-10 is going to plant up, and USF should know that this is where the bomb's going down. And, ooh, Rizzo taking down Squirt. That was sort of the linchpin of USF's hold last time, and now these smokes lasting quite a while. And 4K going down as well. USF looking for answers and can't find any. Now it's just 2 members left standing as Paige gets picked off. And it looks like Louisiana are striking back in this first gun round. Or the first round where they had the guns to match USF. And another flawless out of Louisiana as USF gets reset.
Yeah, I was wondering, why doesn't Sova ever do a rotate through their spawn? I wonder if it's a strategic thing, if there's they're not trying to overcommit maybe.
Yeah.
They're worried about getting picked off, going through their spawn. So it's kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, and it looks like there is going to be a change on the setup from USF. They're throwing Bombaclat onto the A site. That's Sova being able to find that information, honestly, because I think how passive 4K was on that chamber early on was pretty tough to work out. You just didn't know where Louisiana was. You're just giving them so much space. But now this way they're being a little bit more aggressive. And honestly, with it being more of a save, it makes sense. Bombaclat's going to run into 2. Does find 1. And immediately gets traded out, but a nice chunk of damage on a Drippy does get finished off by Squirt as USF dictating the tempo of this 5th round.
Yeah, that was a good trade by the Jet. They're still pushing towards B. Hopefully that this doesn't backfire for them.
Yeah, we'll see. Looks like after that guiding light didn't find anyone, Louisiana trying to back off as do have Chobear here still waiting on the smokes. Might just be some decoy smokes with how they're posturing. But no, this is going to be a commit onto the B site from Louisiana. We got to see how they approach. Viper wall is down. Flash doesn't find anyone, but does tell USF what's going on. Now Paige throws that molly down, and Anderson cleans it up. Anderson, 4K, however you want to call him, does find that kill, and Louisiana forced off site.
30 seconds left.
Well, that's a fun little animation for the new move speed. I like that.
That'll be a fast rotate from Louisiana Tech, especially with that new buff.
Yeah, but they do get spotted out by Paige, so USF is aware, sending Squirt along the backside, but Rizzo using that dash even just to try and cover as much ground as possible, find this plant. 10 seconds left. Is going to go through, I believe, as Paige couldn't quite find the shot. Squirt does, though. And now it's all up to Chobear. Does have that ultimate, so tap comes through, is waiting for the commitment, and there it is. But Paige does find the kill, so it'll just be a matter of waiting out that Brimstone strike. And I mean, Squirt was able to get it to half anyway, so a nice and easy defuse from USF Green, as we got this like little match of ping pong going on back and forth between both teams.
Yeah, that was a good aggression from USF, especially that round. They were able to get the picks that they needed to get and then force the team to like switch sides, play off guard, and it just they made Louisiana like play different, and I feel like that's just not their play style.
Yeah, exactly. When you lose some of those tools very, very early on, you know, you lose. Oh my goodness, I think that they lost the KJ very early on, so their post plant's not going to be very strong, and it makes it very awkward to push on the site. If I'm not mistaken, the chamber went down early as well, so you're going to have some trouble clearing some of those angles. While obviously those aren't your most aggressive members, it still bodies off the map that you won't be able to use when pushing forward. As Louisiana stacking towards this B site, now going to try and get a little bit of space, aren't going to use those smokes, and there's the guiding light to tell Paige that at least the sky's here. Let's see what the response is.
Yeah, we got Chamber holding down the mid to like rotate angle, but it doesn't seem like USF ever really does rotate like through their spawn.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, maybe that's to their benefit as it's forcing a member back as Mango takes down Cho, but Rizzo with a nice shot on the Paige takes out that Viper, so a lot of the smoke potential from USF is out of the picture now. And without any flashes, it'll be tough to regain this space, as 9029 now using that mid to a flank effect. As Squirt, though, able to find Rizzo, and Mango finds Drippy. Squirt taking out 10-10-10 too, and it's just going to be 9029 on this flank. This is actually just a full commit out of Mango. Should be able to find it. And Squirt finding that kill, not really needed for the round, but still a nice strike back after losing sight initially from USF.
Yeah, that was just great gun skill shown by USF. Like, they were able to, like, prove that they were there to win. You know what I mean? Like, in the first few rounds, they weren't able to show it, especially with the pistol round. But, like, this round, they were able to, like, prove and show that we're here to win.
Absolutely. As, again, we're all tied up here, 3-3. USF taking the last two gun rounds. And now a bit of a mixed buy out of Louisiana Tech. They've got about a Hero Bot Vandal and then everyone else just on these sheriffs trying to support Rizzo. Ooh, losing that Blade Storm early, and Squirt finding down 10-10. And 929 losing that tour de force. A lot of ultis used to no avail from Louisiana as they just get picked off left and right. Now Joe just falling into those crosshairs. And Canderson, 4K, is going to go down, as now it's just going to be a matter of Drippy trying to survive, and there's so many USF members tapping away, but Paige finds the kill at 2 HP. So riding the line, but does work it out.
Yeah, that was a good aggression by Ursova, especially going through that mid, taking out players like it was like nothing at that point.
Yeah, and I mean, what's tough is you invest there, and you're dropping these ultimates because you want to win the round. You know, you have a Vandal, you have effectively an AWP, and then another, I guess you could say a pseudo third Vandal in the Jet Blade Storm, and the fact that you got no value out of either of those aggressive ultis is really, really tough as we're looking at, you know, the full buy from both teams, but also Squirt being that difference maker for USF in some of these rounds.
Yeah, all these rounds, he's been able to get the correct angles in order to, like, catch these players off guard. We should see if it, like, keeps going throughout each map.
Yeah, we'll see Paige now about to run into one. Rizzo able to find that kill. Does go down to about 72. So a little chunk of damage down, but nothing too crazy as the lockdown is initiated. But Bombaclat gonna try and shoot it down. Don't think he has the angle on it. No. Or actually, yes, was able to take it down. So Mango, not at any threat of losing position, but does just lose the duel. Running into 4 there. Is now Drippy able to find the plant. 4K Anderson not able to find much. Bombaclat, though, does find the sky. Now it's all up to that Sova. Bombaclat on the flank. It's a tough position, still doable, but very, very difficult to flicked up to the turret. And, ooh, can't quite find the shot. 90-29 eventually going to fall. As these 2 members left, it's just such a strange angle to try and hold Drippy, avoiding that shock dart very, very nicely, and tries to make the gun change. Can't quite do it, and Louisiana ties things back up. I love this push and pull that we're seeing. These 2 teams, bringing the best out of each other.
Yeah. Also, you can see that Chamber rotated through the defense spawn, and like that really helped the momentum of their team, especially being able to take care of the person that was hiding in the back.
Yeah, most certainly. Those rotates and some of those unexpected angles can really come into play. As honestly, USF they're giving up a lot of space, I feel, around mid, around A site, and Louisiana Tech on the rounds they've won, they've been taking advantage of that.
We can see that Viper also has like a new set lineup for this site, especially with that new yellow box turn.
Yeah, it is a slight change to the one that was used. I think it's also trying to cut out the new adjustments to that little, not cubby area, but that small side room by B main, and so I think this lineup is adjusting to that as well. So it's really crazy to see that in just 10 hours they've managed to find those new angles.
We can see a heavy push by B. They're holding the bomb back. I think they're playing for pick at this point to see where they're going to go.
Yeah, it looks like it, but Henderson going to find the first pick instead over on A side. Now Rizzo going to run in Bombaclat, just going to get shot down. And that Viper's Pit deterring any movement towards this B site, really pushing Louisiana Tech into a corner here.
Yeah, this pinch is going to be really hard for them to like defend against.
And I mean, honestly, USF, they don't even need to do much more. They don't need to push any further. They've got all of the ground control. They know where they are. It's up to Louisiana to fight their way out, as 10-10 is going to find Paged. Now might be this upgraded stim beacon that provides Louisiana Tech the space, but that owl drone finding Chobear is going to give away some crucial information. Squirt finds 1, might find 2, and indeed he does, as now Mingo with a clean shot onto Drippy, as it really does feel like in this game, whoever finds the first pick finds the round. That's what it's felt like to me.
Yeah, it's obviously like whoever got that first pick off initial, like normally takes the round every time.
Yeah, and it's not always like that. Sometimes you'll see these games where that first pick goes down, and then a team's able to just be like, oh, they found our pick on A, let's just hard stomp B. And then they'll make the round work out of that, or they'll immediately trade it out. But so many of these positions are like really scattered defaults where it's just, can you win your duels?
It's more normally like the 1v1s. Can you win them? These teams, like both teams can seem to have like really good gun skills. Squirt out here showing how good he is at the game.
Ooh, and just like that. I mean, it's a pseudo caster's curse. The second we talk about it, it shows up on screen. Bombaclat able to mark down the chamber on 9029. So there is that information garnered, and I like these changes USF have been making. They're not giving as much space to Louisiana to work with, but there is that first trade. Gets answered right back by Page. Now 4K going down to Drippy. It's a lot more even across the board as far as trades, but Louisiana Tech, couple members very, very low.
The Jet rotating towards A just to hold off any people like pushing forward.
Yeah, trying to watch out for any pushes mid, but just 5 HP, the stray anything is going to kill you.
Yeah. Jet's aggression is very confusing to see, especially with the lack of HP. But
I mean, at that point, I feel like it's a headshot or nothing, and you understand that, so maybe you do just go for those more aggressive angles. And just like that, spots the head of Mango and shoots it clean off. As now Squirt is going to find Rizzo, answer right back, Paged with the pincer onto Chobear, and now it's just down to Drippy. 30 HP in a dream, no spike in sight, is going to have to run into the merciless crosshair of Squirt, as there's another 3K to add to their name.
Yeah, Squirt's out here showing how good he is. Like, his shots been perfect so far. Hopefully Louisiana can counter that. And
yeah, and I mean, honestly, I'd say this is maybe turning that spot where Squirt is finding some of these first picks, is finding those entrances. And if Louisiana can start to break down how he's attacking and how he's, you know, pushing on this defensive side. Now, obviously, we're reaching that half, only 2 rounds left. But if you make that adjustment in the last 2 rounds to try and play around Squirt being this menace and finding that trade, could open up a lot of space for them.
This seems to be a very aggressive push towards A. We should see, like, Chamber being used to teleport as soon as he gets a pick.
Yeah, and he's just going to jump straight out. Doesn't want to face the might of an entire Louisiana Tech team. We're seeing a Squirt pop the Blade Storm. Let's see if any madness happens out of that. And Chobear just going to shut it down right away. And now Anderson going to need to find something. Does get the bomb plant denied. Takes 2, so it's down to a 3v3. Mango still with the res available. So there is that to take note of. Bladestorm committed by Rizzo. Doesn't look like it's going to find anything. And indeed it doesn't. Mango then just finds it, gives him a free haircut. Takes it straight off. It's 10-10 responds on a Bombaclad. Nice tight round for both teams. But remember, Mango does still have this res if they need it. And there it is, bringing Squirt back from the dead. As it is all up to this guy, 10-10-10. Gonna have to face down 3. Page gonna take him out before he can find anyone. And, I mean, a good, you know, initial take, some great trades, but these last 2 members from USF holding down the fort.
Yeah, especially with that last kill, it's like the main thing that I've ever learned playing Valorant is always check your corners. Imagine if they didn't check their corner, that was 2 free kills for that last player alive.
Yeah, and it's those little details, you know, checking your corners, making sure that you are confirming every part of site is cleared out, making sure that when you're pushing into site, you've got a teammate next to you who can trade you in case you go down early. And it does feel like on that retake, USF was indeed doing that. And I'm going to say Louisiana Tech going for the open bomb plant after seeing a chamber, you know, just in the corner. Maybe not the smartest idea, but still, we're going to see what happens. Tour de Force popped by both teams. But still, quite a few ultis available for Louisiana Tech. I want to see the Seekers used this round. I mean, they've got to be used, so I want to see that Sky Util applied as Chambers going to run into each other. 4K going to find it, and now this B-site push not working out too well. The Killjoy lockdown did get used, and there's the Seekers pushing Paged out. But still, even if USF has to give up this site, at the very least, they've got the man advantage.
Yeah, so the rotate between Jet and the back is going to be very beneficial if he is able to get the pick.
Oh, this flank could be massive, as I don't know if anyone's watching behind. And now with the benefit of this Viper wall, it's going to make it that much more difficult. As now Drippy going to run straight into Paged, and now Squirt on the backside knows there's one left. There's the Brim ulti committed, but does wind up going down. So that should be another round going the way of USF. 8-4 will be how we end this half, and does feel like USF certainly showing why this was their pick.
Yeah, they seem to be very confident on this map. The way they're playing, the way they're rotating, only rotating to the spawn once on the last round. Let's see how they play on offense.
Yeah, let's see how this offensive half is used by USF. But honestly, like, I'm just thinking about how aggressive Squirt was on defense. Now imagine on offense, where that's what you have to do. So I think this is going to be very, very fun to watch. But honestly, it's just been it's 8-4, but it doesn't feel like an 8-4. I think just because Louisiana, a lot of these rounds have been pretty tight, and they've found really good opportunities. But it's just been a matter of USF maybe having a few more that gives them that edge in those last couple rounds.
Yeah. Also, I want to see, like, if it'd be funny if like Squirt is actually like the opposite on defense, where he plays super slow, and then on on offense he plays very slow. But like, we'll see how it goes. We have multiple sheriffs on both sides. Yeah,
I mean, this is just the Jet Sheriff. I've got my dash. If I can kill someone, then I'm going to get out of there. As I think both Rizzo and Squirt spotted out by the respective Sovas. So, actually, no, there is no Sova by Louisiana Tech, so just the one. But that Sky Flash did alert them to a few members. Ooh, a nice full flash on the entire team. 9029 taking advantage on a Paged with that Headhunter. Now Chobear finally here to slow down this response, and USF having none of it, choosing to just pull all the way out of A site, use those chamber traps as little watch points. Now 9029 going to face the onslaught of USF. Doesn't find that one tap. Does get a little chip damage down, but still not quite enough. Is forced to retreat. Now it's just a classic using that last bullet.
Yeah, we can see also Louisiana Tech rotating all the way around. We have Breach going through the mid, probably even the spawn.
Yeah, could be that massive loop around. No, instead just does cut through mid. And USF with a nice little setup, but still Louisiana. Got to remember they do have the man advantage. They have healed up a couple of those more injured members. But the amount of time USF is buying is going quite a ways as Anderson finds 10-10 and Mango gets 902. And Chobear the only one to find a response. Anderson with that finisher with the Mage Punk. Goes. Honestly, I'm going to say Mage Punk, one of my favorite aesthetics. I'm really sad that they didn't use it on more guns. You know, like the Marshall, the Ghost, like what are you doing with that? Give me a Phantom. Give me a Vandal with that.
Yeah, it's also, that was such a good round for them.
Yeah.
That was like perfect. As you said that they were down man, like the Louisiana had a man advantage on them, but USF just destroyed that. They were like, nope, we're not gonna let this happen.
They just had that tempered aggression, you know, and they used the advantage they were able to get when attacking A. You know, Chamber on the side of Louisiana, super low, one shot, and then the same for I think the Killjoy. They were both very low, and when you have those lower members, if you can just swing out and get the kill, it does go a very long way.
USF's really good at like keeping the momentum. Like they're like taking this momentum and trying to like run with it right now.
Yeah, and we're seeing 4K pushing forward. Don't think he realized Rizzo has a shorty right around the corner. This could spell doom for a couple members, and indeed it does. Two go down with 2 quick shots, as now USF left with a man disadvantage, but still have the guns, have the Spectres. Still, there's opportunity abound, but maybe not if Paige plays this beautifully, and that trigger discipline works out for 1, does find 2, and 10-10 long ways away with just a classic, not able to do too much as Bomba does get caught after taking down Chobear. So now it's 2v1. Squirt, though, does have that Marshall, has an angle onto Spike. Is, I think, just going to play this slowly, waiting for Paige on the side. There's the lineups as well. Plenty available. Now there is a Spectre picked up. Does take down Paige, but won't be able to get too much more. Maybe just trying to get this Marshall out of Squirt's hands. And indeed won't be able to, but not a huge gun to carry over. Still, good showing out of Louisiana on this anti-bonus round. Honestly, getting rid of 4 guns. It's a pretty big deal when all you've got is, a shorty and some classics.
Yeah. Again, another reason of like checking your corners, making sure that you're pre-firing the certain corners that you want to assume people are at. The information wasn't there, obviously. They weren't able to tell that like the person was there creeping with the shorty, but
I feel like you have to expect it though.
Yeah. Especially on like one of like the bonus rounds. You gotta like just assume that they're gonna be there.
Yeah, and especially the shorty being only 150, like, why not?
Yeah.
So here we are jumping into that first gun round. USF got everything that they can ask for from those 2 rounds with bomb plants. Now 90-29 around the side. I'm going to try and find something. It doesn't sound like USF has everything. Maybe a couple Spectres, and first pick goes the way of Louisiana Tech. Squirt answers right on back. Now Drippy caught into a corner right between a rock and a hard place. Does escape the gas, though, so not going to die quite yet. And again, trades back and forth. 4K doing a lot, and there's a beautiful headshot onto Drippy. As now it's just up to 10-10-10-10. Will he be able to find more? And no, 4K for 4K Anderson. Been waiting for that.
Yeah, been waiting to say that. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is that was just good plays by Louisiana. Sorry, this is really hard for me to say Louisiana, but yeah, it was just good plays. They were able to like. Sorry, my
USF.
USF.
Yeah, the red and the green swapped up, so colors are a little different. But yeah, USF on attack, Louisiana on defense now, and USF, they're taking the momentum, they're running with it, and now it's 11-4. 2 more rounds and USF takes game 1.
Yeah, as soon as Louisiana went to 4, they haven't like won a round since.
No.
There's been flawless rounds by USF.
Yeah, and starts like that isn't how you get more. And obviously, side of Louisiana forced to save here to try and play for 12. Chobear able to find 1 with the Ghost, so that's not too bad. Does throw down the Molly, waiting for reinforcements, but still going to be hard-pressed to do much. Does look like 9029 is going for a long flank, is going to run into his counterpart, his Clone Chamber's traps. Does see them, but might not be ready for this other one around the corner. In fact, doesn't get spotted, so that could be pretty big. Actually does get spotted. Couldn't hear it, but still, Louisiana, very, very tough spot here.
Yeah, Chambers forgets to just like says no more to the rotate all the way around.
And Drippy, unfortunate, did see the gun barrel, but couldn't do much about it, as Anderson does find another 3K, and USF put themselves to game point.
Yeah. USF, I think, is going to take it this round. Their momentum has been so far so good. Like, they were at 4-4 at one point, and then since that, they went all the way to 12-4. So it's going to be really hard, just momentum-wise, for Louisiana to come back from this.
Yeah, and I mean, they've got to be playing for every single round, and yeah, I like that you bring that up. You know, it was 4-4 at one point. These teams were just going back and forth, and then USF has just carried it forward. Even though there have been some tight rounds here and there, even though there have been points where Louisiana finds an advantage, it just has all felt like USF can bring it back, pull it back, and now we're going to see if Louisiana has anything left in the tank for this final game, for this final round potentially. As Viper, while doing quite a bit, I think the score did get tagged out. Actually, no, managed to evade all those bullets through the smoke, and Mango gets first pick onto 90-29. Guiding Light doesn't do much as they find that pick, run away as Paige is just taken down B site. And I love this move because you're forcing members to stay back. You've got someone on the flank who's going to be ready. Anderson finding a shot through the smoke after spotting out Rizzo. And now Paige in just such a deadly position if anyone were to rotate through spawn.
Yeah, once they get this bomb plant down, it's going to be a hard break at this point.
That it will, as Anderson taking down everyone mid. And now Paige going to find the last member. Going to find 10-10 USF. Take this first map 13-4. So a commanding start out of the Bulls, and the Bulldogs struggling for answers.
Yeah, the USF was just showing like their skill. They were showing their communication. Paige on that last point was like, oh, B-side's cleared, come through. It'll be an easier plant than trying to force A. And it showed that it worked out. Yeah,
it did show, and I mean we had some great moments from both teams, but obviously USF having more with that score line, as I feel like, you know, scoreline doesn't reflect everything, but still there was a level of dominance out of USF in that game one. We're going to see if it continues into game two. We're heading over to Bind, as that was Louisiana's map pick, and we're going to see if that does change things, if they have more answers, have more options. But before that, we're going to a quick break, so you're going to want to stay tuned for the next match, see if USF can take the clean 2-0 or Louisiana can strike back. Stick around. And welcome back as we're headed to Bind. We've got USF versus Louisiana as Bind. This is the map where we might see Yoru, and I'm excited. It looked like we saw Yoru hover, but didn't get locked in. Chobear sticking to that Brimstone and actually going with the double controller setup with the Viper as well. So I think this will be really interesting. A lot of smokes coming out of Louisiana Tech, whereas USF still more up in the air.
Yeah, Mango hasn't even hovered over a character yet, so we're yet to see if your Yoru will come through.
It's so much fun. It is so much fun. It was like a couple days after they did the initial changes that allowed it to interact with Boombot and stuff, and I saw this one player from, I want to say, it wasn't St. John's. I don't know, I saw this one player, maybe from Georgetown, and they were just so much fun to watch because they were just pulling out the shorty. They're playing Yoru. They were running around the map, and it was great to see. But it doesn't look like we're going to see that this game. Paige swapping over from the Viper to, it does look like the Brimstone here on Bind. I really think that Bind is one of those maps that Brimstone can shine in because 3 smokes is often enough to take a site cleanly. You know, it's not like Icebox, it's not like Breeze where there's these big open sight lines that you have to worry about. It's a couple very targeted positions.
Yeah, as we were talking about the new buff to Breach, Brimstone, sorry, it should be interesting. It was very interesting. There wasn't a lot of big plays that Brimstone was showing out last game. Hopefully we can see some new mechanics being used for this new map.
Yeah, I feel like Bind is a map that really lends itself to that speed. You know, it allows there's a lot tighter positions that move speed can be useful. Whereas opposed to Icebox, there's so much distance you have to traverse that I don't think we could see it shine as much. And I'm guessing that, you know, now with this being a tighter map where that speed boost can be relevant, we're seeing both teams pick it up.
Yeah, USF seems to be pushing towards B possibly, or a mid to A type push. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how they do. I think on Bind, it's normally, actually, I don't know. I don't think there's one set site that everyone usually goes to, because on Icebox, you normally start on A for pistol and for others. But it looks like they are just going with the stim beacon into speed as a quick charge into Hookah. 90-29 getting flashed up. Not going to be able to get caught by anyone, but still does get spotted. There was someone waiting there, although Paged going very, very low might slow this push down as both Brimstones responding to each other, and Louisiana already pulling the rotate. Did send their Viper back, which I think is fine. You know, leave that anchor, especially as USF is no longer committing.
Yeah, it's good that they put their Sky and their Viper both back towards A. Chamber and Brimstone, instead of rotating, are possibly going back towards B.
Yeah, it looks like they're heading back up Hookah, and it's just waiting. I think it's just a waiting game for both teams. They want just that sliver of information, and honestly, with how long USF is taking, Louisiana sending a third member back towards A site. Maybe that's one too many, as it looks like the execute is coming in. 9029 spots the bird, sees the smokes come down, but can't do much more beyond that. Although Chobear doing quite a bit. Gets traded out by Bomba Clat. Now Bomb does get Spike does get planted. This is a Counter-Strike as Rizzo trying to jump forward. Can't quite find anyone yet. Still alive though. Does get taken out as Drippy finds another. 9029 on the wraparound, and it's all up to Page with just a little bit of HP. Trying to get the jump and headshots. There's one on the right click, and now just a Cypher to find, but a full health one at that. Paged very, very low, trying to find something, and doesn't hear 9029. Spots the head, spots the hat, but so does 9029 as that Cypher finds the beret of Brimstone, and we'll get this first round for Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, we should see like just the rotation, like the communication between USF. We were able to see like they were possibly thinking about going towards A, but they're actually faking it, making their entire Louisiana's entire team like rotate, and then they're trying to push back. But at the end of the day, it just didn't work out in their favor.
Yeah, in the end, it didn't quite work out, as now USF are going to be forced to, you know, save up, bonus up for the side of Louisiana. So we're seeing one of those really fun little hookah setups for Cypher. I've always really enjoyed those. I think it lends itself to, you know, the creativity that the agent is supposed to provide. Boombot does spot out at least one, so Louisiana aware that there are members lurking around this midsection, just keeping that Cypher back to anchor the B site. I like this move. You know, that I feel like that's why you have your Sentinels. You know, they're just supposed to anchor your sites. And see, oh, this is so tight. 10-10, just waiting for that peek up, and and you just immediately see all those green spots in the kill feed as Louisiana runs down USF. I mean, that's what you expect out of the bonus round, but still, it was all in like, you know, half a second.
Yeah. But I do agree with what you're saying with having Cypher being able to just hold his side by himself. Like with the equipment that he has, the information that he can get through his stuff, him being by himself is so useful because the rest of the team can be like helping the more aggressive push towards the other side, while him being able to be there just safe, just in case anything happens.
Exactly. In case something happens, maybe he finds a pick. Maybe he just lets everyone know that, yes, I did see the spike, and you should rotate, and it's not just a lurker. So all those little details do come into play as first gun round, USF just sticking to a basic default, looking for picks.
This first pick seems to be everything for USF. As soon as they get that first pick, they're normally able to win the round.
Or at the very least, push their advantage off of it. Now, Bind, of course, is a lot different than Icebox. You can rotate quite a bit faster. You can get a little more creative. Oh, no, Mango's looking the wrong way. 10-10 just decided to peek around the corner, and we'll see who runs into who. And the headshot goes the way of Mango. Now might find another, and Drippy, just with that second shot, does get the kill. Does go very, very low, though, so won't be good for much else, as USF looks like they are potentially committing towards this B site. Bombaclat to get caught in the cage. Now Anderson might be on the wrong side of a molly. Trevor actually just throws it to deny some space onto site. Page does spot out a couple of those tripwires. Anderson can't find anything with the spray. USF looks like they might be rotating through that bind, through the teleporter, and indeed heading back over to A site.
Yeah, you got Brimstone and Chambers going through like the mid towards A. It'll be confusing for these teams that are still on here because they might not be assuming it.
Oh, but looks like they're ready. Rizzo finds one. Drippy finds another. And while these players are low, they're still holding sight. Squirt, though, going to shut down Rizzo. And now Drippy's the last one standing, at least on site in that U-Haul. Looks like the rotate from
One enemy
the
remaining.
Brimstone is around.
One enemy
Chobear trying to
remaining.
do the most, but 4 seconds left on the clock. Drippy just got to stay alive, and indeed looks like he will, as a time win for Louisiana Tech as their patience is rewarded.
I don't know what that was meant for. I feel like he could have been able to save a gun for that round, but either way that they won the round. So, USF just needs to, like, their gun skills, like, seems to be really well. Like, their shots are, like, on target. Their, like, placement of their crosshairs are, like, working well for them. It's just probably the movement on the map. Louisiana has, like, a better holding of, like, these sites comparatively.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to remember, this is Louisiana's map pick. This is the one that they wanted to make sure they got, and it's starting to show. You know, they're having a little bit more of that rotational strength you brought up. They're having a few more options, a little bit more creativity. And honestly, with this Viper Brimstone setup, it lets you be a little bit more liberal with your smokes, I feel. You know, you can throw out your Brim smokes early in the round because you'll still have Viper to sort of shore things up if it goes the wrong way.
Yeah. We can see that USF is going, like, a hard push on B site. We have 3 players on A that are, like, slowly rotating.
Yeah, and it looks like with that slow push out of Baths, there should be an understanding for Louisiana that USF is going towards his B site, but Bombaclat does have that Phantom, finds the first pick on 929, and here comes the rest of the push. Chobear trying to find one, does do it, though Mango immediately responds. Rizzo now going to run into Anderson, does find it, but still very, very low on that Sky. Just super low HP. Rizzo sent down to 60 from the shock dart. USF making the most out of this, you know, hero buy supported. Although Drippy finds 1, finds 2, not gonna find 3, paged on the Odin. Did quite a bit, although Rizzo with the spray down does make the retake come through. Louisiana find first 4 rounds in this half on bind.
Yeah, Louisiana looks so confident in this map. It shows, like, the difference between this and Icebox for them. It just seems so, like it's, like, normal for them. That's what it's, like, feeling like.
And I mean, you know, those comfort maps, it is very real. You know, if your team excels at, you know, some of these tighter spaces versus the more wide open ones, then that's going to be a difference maker. It could also be that, you know, with Louisiana starting on defense, they can maybe set the tone a little bit differently than on Icebox, where they can play a slower style if they want. They can be a little more aggressive, or they can just hold back. And I think Viper and Brimstone give you those options because they can, you can just have this endless or seemingly endless barrage of smokes across both sides of the map. And Tentenor finding an open pick on Anderson. Mango responds though, so it could be a good start. And Bomba using that guiding light very, very well, and then immediately gets traded back as both teams going blow for blow. The Squirt finally making USF come out on top as the late rotate here from 929 and Chobear going to be very difficult to pull off. Although, again, here it is. There's that second person as Brimstone ulti gets used. 929 finds Mango lacking, although Paige gets the refrag, and it's all up to this Odin'd up Brimstone, and is going to get shut down by Paige as USF find their first round.
Yeah, that's actually really weird. I wasn't expecting that, especially with they have a 3-person hold on A. It was very interesting that they were able to, like, get so many people out there without losing too many lives.
I mean, it felt like it was just trade for trade. You know, USF are putting them in a position that they could trade every single kill that they lose, and that is going to work out more times than not, especially on attack, as, you know, you can send all 5 members, whereas the defenders are forced to, you know, be split up across sites. And I feel like that's a big oversimplification of sort of how, like, trade patterns work and whatever, but sometimes that is just all that it comes down to, is if you can trade every single time when you're attacking, it's going to be a lot. You'll be able to find sight. As initial stun does go down onto Drippy, just sitting in the smoke. Here come the Seekers, going to find him immediately, and just waiting for someone on USF to actually punish this Viper. They know he's there.
Yeah, we still have someone from Louisiana.
Oh, and they don't even check, but doesn't come to anything. It's 10-10-10, gonna find Paige. And oh, this Ares, it's not what it used to be, but still doing plenty of work. As the right clicks come through for Bombaclat, now Rizzo gonna try and beat that Raise Judge Menace you find in your ranked game. Swaps over to the Spectre. Does have the Showstopper, so that is something to keep in mind, although no satchel charge is available. So might just try to find another pick or two, get a gun, something along those lines, but is going to find Bombaclat, and that's going to be another kill on the 5 HP Sky as USF put their second round together. But it was off of, you know, bit of a mixed buy from Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm just worried for Louisiana at this point. I'm worried that they're like, there's going to be a jinx of them being at 4. And then USF taking momentum all the way to 13. Hopefully it doesn't happen like that, but
it's always possible, you know, and especially when you did just have a game that felt very, very even to start and then just sort of snowballed out of control. But again, with Bayern being a little more comfortable, I think that Louisiana will find options. But we're already seeing adjustments out of USF from how Louisiana is playing this first half on defense, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really it's good to see, you know, your teams, both teams really adjusting to the other. Yeah.
USF seems to be playing like very slow in comparison to like the Icebox map, which is smart, especially with this being like Louisiana's pick.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if you can make them uncomfortable, you'd rather do that. And this might just be one of those. Is Molly doesn't do a ton, but does get a little bit of damage down. Doesn't force Chobear out of that position, as USF not looking to commit onto this B site. Or potentially looking to commit onto this B site.
Yeah, we can still see like Sky and Viper holding down A, making sure that the rotate isn't possible. I think it'd be a little bit smarter if Sky would like push out, have a better angle on like their spawn rotation.
Yeah, and it does look like there is gonna be a potential bathrooms push, but instead just holding it off, and we might see them run into each other. And 10-10 taking down 4K. That's a good start for Louisiana. They did get that first pick, and USF now going to be in a bit of an awkward position. Bomba might be trying to find one and then TP away, but instead is just going to get taken down. You got to check your corners, as now it looks like the commitment from USF is going to be on this B side. They've got 3 members standing. They're going to use all 3 to try and take this side as Chobear stimmed up, ready to roll, and gets immediately shut down by Squirt as the teleport rotates are coming through for Louisiana as USF. Just a couple seconds ticking down, and we'll be able to find it. Rizzo still with that showstopper, and of course that Viper spit as well, but might not even be needed. Guiding Light will just on 1. Page finds Drippy. They're cutting down these members, and was once a 4-2 man advantage has been cut to 2-1 in favor of USF. Page and Squirt doing so much work, but now 10-10-10 looking at the first and the last kills of this round. It's not just him and Squirt, but if you're facing 1 man on USF, I wouldn't want it to be Squirt, as USF get their 3rd round in a row.
Yeah, I'm still worried about this jinx that's coming through.
Your caster cursing them, man.
Because that 4-2 advantage is so important, especially with the rotate through hookah. Like, it would have been so easy for Louisiana at the start, but like Page out here showing how good he is at the game, being able to like
peek in and out. Yeah, and just sort of realizing they're going to be coming from all sides, so just committing to one section then another. It's like clearing every single... It's kind of like Minesweeper in a way, where you have to clear all of these different sections to make it there. As now, Louisiana on a save round, or a half buy, could come to 4-4. We're going to have to see. Bomba doesn't lose to the judge, as now 10-10 stuck in bathrooms. We're seeing a much faster rotate out of Louisiana Tech, especially off the push from 9029. And Drippy, though, going to find Mango. That's a good start, but does immediately get traded. So again, Louisiana on the back foot, but we've seen them do quite a lot with these scrappy buys. We're going to have to see if there can be more of it.
The Cypher rotate could like prove like a horrible thing for USF.
Yeah, it could be big, but Page immediately shutting it down does, you know, really deny the shot for them to win this round. Although Chamber missing that shot doesn't matter. Squirt cleans it up. As again, Louisiana, they have these moments, but now we're back to 4-4.
Yeah, also I agree with you a lot about that Steampunker skin. You need to be used more.
Right, the Mage Punk. Like, yeah, it's on a Spectre, a Marshal, and a Ghost. That's kind of cool. It's got a neat little knife, but I want a Phantom. I want a Vandal. Because like Mage Punk, Steampunk, that kind of stuff, it's one of my favorite aesthetics. I just love seeing stuff with it. And then you're not giving me a rifle? Come on. Maybe it got like a Bulldog or something. I don't know. Not a Phantom or a Vandal. I want it, please. Mage Punk 2, give me a Phantom. I'm putting it out there. As now we're seeing the immediate Viper's pit, and I do like this, but Drippy immediately going down shuts down that potential. Rizzo finally going to be using this showstopper. Is going to find Squirt and just kills going left and right the way of Louisiana. As it seems that some aggression does a lot, goes a very long way, as they have broken the 4-round curse. So we're not worried about that. Maybe me saying that just jinxed them to a 5-round curse. But regardless,
also,
you know.
I wanted to talk about like the thing I just like, I'm assuming I saw where they had Brimstone use his buff, and then they had Sky's dog go through.
Yep.
Did that give a speed boost to the
Yes,
dog?
if I'm not mistaken, that is how the interaction works. You do get a speed boost on the dog, and I've got a feeling that could be, you know, a big reason why maybe Brimstone is picked more, because you're getting more utility off of your Trailblazer. You're doing a lot more on that line. So yeah, that does look like a much faster doggo. We'll have to see, as looks like that was just a Brimstone ulti to clear out some space, and the stun up onto Drippy is going to take that down, and the Seekers getting thrown out are going to spot out 10, 10, 10, 10. Did I just call him 40? You know? But honestly,
That was a fast plant by USF.
that was a very fast plant, one of their fastest plants so far, as they've been really taking it slowly, looking for picks, and now they know everyone has rotated with that, with 4K sort of being on the backside, making it all the way up B. And Dog is going to do a lot, is going to take down Paige. That stun to the skies combo working out very nicely. A Squirt looking the wrong way, sprays down, somehow still finds one. Hunter's Fury going to take Rizzo off the bomb, right into the crosshair of Bombaclat. As now it's a 2v3. Louisiana Tech trying to find something, but Mango and 4K shutting them down as USF tie things up once again.
Yeah, that was a good use of Sova's ult. I think that was like part of the plan, that they were just trying to hold him off, just wait for him. It's weird that they didn't have like a back rotate like through the mid, through the mid towards B. Like a back rotate would have like killed off the Sova, and then that ult would have been useless.
I mean, it really, I think, came down to the fact that 4K Anderson just started pushing through B, because Louisiana, after seeing that super fast bomb plant, they were just hard rotated back to A. And it just provided USF sort of like a funnel for them to start picking members off left and right.
Also, that use of the Sky's dog and then the Brimstone ult.
That was nice. I really like that little combination. 9029 isn't going to be liking the crosshair placement of Squirt as he finds another, and doesn't check the corner, and you got to do it. Chobear bringing down the judgment as Mango and Paige going to find a couple kills, and now Rizzo with the nades. Love to see it. Now 4K on the back end might have this flank around, and Drippy with just a classic. Not going to be able to do much. Did throw that snake bite, but doesn't do enough, as it is just going to be a matter of, I think, this smoke popping until Drippy goes down, and there it is to the hands of Bombaclat. And USF give themselves, at the very least, a tied up first half.
Last round before the switch.
I think just off momentum, USF will probably take this round as well. Like, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think they could, but we are going to be seeing a full buy out of Louisiana Tech. They do have that Cypher ulti and the Seekers, so if you can keep 9029 alive, I think that could be really useful information. The only ulti available for USF is the Bladestorm, so nothing incredibly impactful. So I would like to see Louisiana use these. I just want them to use these ultimates, if I'm being honest, because, you know, so often it'll be last round and someone won't use an ultimate because they don't find, like, the perfect time, but maybe it's not about the perfect time. Just about making sure you get your value, as Squirt gonna take some value from those paint shells. A little damage going down, but it's just going to get healed up by Bombaclat. Repeat. There is the Guiding Light dropped. Sort of denies that Boombot, I feel.
Brimstone holding the mid push, like if they ever try to rotate through, which is really useful.
Yeah, I like that. You know, Chobear doing quite a bit, and honestly might be able to catch off too. Page could run it. Oh, finds 9029 through the smoke, but there come the Seekers, and Drippy does go down, but Chobear holding the angle, but USF smartly checking their corners, as now it's all down to 9029 and 10-10-10-10. As Squirt throwing down that Bladestorm, looking to become the Jet in your highlight reels, but 9029 just knocking him down. It's 10-10-10, doing quite a bit as well. And now it's all up to that. Give me a corpse indeed, as looks like Bombaclat's going to make you one instead, as USF give themselves a 7-5 advantage going into the second half. Also, I thought I saw maybe a temporary disconnect from Squirt, but it looks like he's still in the game, so no issues there.
Yeah, that last round seemed like there's a call play to just play aggressive, just get the kills. They could have easily rotated towards B and like.
Okay. USF just taking a timeout, so yeah. It could be a disconnect from Squirt, or it could just be that they want to, you know, take a tactical timeout. I mean, sometimes you do need it. I honestly really like it when teams that are ahead use their timeouts, because if you're just relying on momentum alone, then maybe you're not taking the greatest advantage forward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Bombaclat was like really showing like how good of a gun skill he was. Like Squared had like the most kills last game, and then this game he's showing like I'm here to play.
Yeah, he's showing off as well, using that Sky, doing quite a bit. I mean, Sky is also a lot more aggressive than Sova, so I feel like there is that. As you know, you can see on the right where we've got USF who did pick up that first map on Icebox. We're gonna have to see if we do even make it to Haven, because USF did find the advantage in the first half here, but still, you know, Louisiana, they're looking a lot better on Bind than they did on Icebox.
Yeah, they look a lot more confident. Like the way they're playing just seems a lot nicer. Like,
yeah, and I mean,
better showing.
That point on confidence, I think that is a very, very relevant point, because if you're playing with confidence, then that means you are not, you know, second guessing yourself. You are just making decisions. You're stepping forward with them. You're trusting your teammates, and that can go a very, very long way. Because I think in any game, you know, traditional sports, esports, decision making can separate good players from great players.
Yeah, the hesitation, that like little like small millisecond of like thought process could like be the reason you win or lose games.
Exactly. And so that confidence always plays a factor, as Bombaclat does get spotted out, forced to use that guiding light to maybe try and get around, but does see Drippy, and using this smoke aggressively. I like this. About to throw out the blinding lights, finds one, immediate headshot onto the other. Can't quite find a 929, but does eventually get it. As, again, there it is, the aggression of Sky. We're seeing it in tandem with Page Smoke. Really great to see that teamwork, and Scored already with the major wraparound. Looks like Rizzo's watching for it, but still with that engagement from Bombaclat, already gotten 4K, could be getting ace. Chobear denying that, and Page finishing things off. As what a round at a Bombaclat, honestly.
Yeah, that was like such a great use of his aggression. Like it was so well placed for everything. Sucks he couldn't get the ace though at the end.
Yeah, I mean that's always like, man, that'd be great. But honestly, what I'm more impressed with is the fact that, oh my gosh, look at Bombaclat. I didn't even realize how dominant he was on the scoreboard. 23 and then 10. Holy moly, that is a difference maker. But it doesn't feel like, you know, everyone else hasn't been pulling their weight. You know, like that last play we saw where Bombaclat gets 2. It's only possible because of Page's smoke. And that communication, that team play, is what I think is really great to see about, like, you know, just any esport, collegiate esports especially. As now Score going to run into 1, might be able to find 2. 929 getting a good chunk of damage, but what a dash off the headshot. Now that's the spray and pray if I've ever seen one. As Page gets 1, runs down the second, and now just looking for Chobear, who did drop the stim, but stim's not going to do much up against that Spectre, as USF with a flawless bonus.
Yeah, that sprinting and shooting at the same time, like, tactic is like seeming to work out in these situations for USF.
Yeah, it's the run and gun. It reminds me back when I started playing Counter-Strike, I had a friend who was like LEM, and he would like play on a Smurf to play with me in like Silver, but then he wouldn't do anything besides do PP Bison, run at them, shoot at the legs, and that's what it feels like sometimes with a Spectre. Close range, run, shoot at the legs.
Hopefully, like, we can see that Louisiana comes back from this. Like,
Smoke's down.
it's not possible for these teams.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, I think that all Louisiana needs is 1 gun round, and then we will be right back to it. As Chobear finding Squirt off that aggression, doing a great job, and honestly, that opening pick could go a long way. As 10-10 also finding Page 2 unresponded picks, as it is going to come down to, you know, probably a major individual performance out of Bombaclat here to hold this B site.
Yeah, we could see a early rotate by Chamber.
And I like this. Does see that Trailblazer and is aware that there's someone coming through hookah. Not able to find the shot. Mango, though, finds 929 lurking around A site. So at the very least, there's one member that you can take. Bombaclat doesn't get spotted. Oh, no. He's got the Spectre. He's got the rifle. Almost finds 2. Looked away too soon. And, oh, man, I think if that next kill goes over, we're looking at a very different round, as Louisiana Tech, 3 members left standing, all up to Mango here on the Sova.
Standing ahead.
As Recon Dart does spot out 10-10, and that could be a good start, but not going to be able to find the shots. And it is going to be a round on the board for Louisiana Tech. Nice when we're looking at the game score. 6-9. Nice, all y'all in chat. Getting a nice spam. but seriously, all things. You know, Louisiana Tech, they did have the gun advantage in that round, I will be honest. You know, it was still a half bonus, so USF may be playing a little more aggressively than they usually would. But still, putting her on the board, getting some of that momentum, and I think if they can, start to string these together, we're looking at a much tighter game state.
Yeah. Also, the thing about checking corners, so many instances where it's just like messed it up.
Yeah, I mean, right there, it was, Bamba being on that corner, not getting checked immediately, almost finding 2 or 3 kills out of it. I mean, honestly, Louisiana was fortunate that it was only 1.
This seems to be like a slow play by Louisiana. They're like trying to see if they can get the pick first and then push forward.
Yeah, just playing default is USF a little more aggressive. 4K might have heard that, jump down drop from 929 and does spot it, but Cypher still wins that duel as now Rizzo looking for something out of USF, but Squirt, oh, what a dirty angle for that one. Must have seen like an elbow pixel or something.
The accuracy with that, with Squirt, has been very, show and tell.
It's been absurd. It has been absurd. That is all I can think of when it comes to some of the plays we've seen out of Squirt, as it does look like those Seekers are committed out of Bombaclat, and not going to find anyone, but does let them know that there's some players lurking around Hookah. Molly does get dropped. Doesn't do much damage. I think just slowing down Louisiana Tech is all USF wants to do now. 30 seconds left now on the clock, so this smoke refresh out of Hookah likely do quite a bit at slowing down the pushes. Oh, Bomba, you can't be going for those kind of peaks, as does spot 2. Stays alive and uses that guiding light to prevent that push. Now it's a matter of keeping it going as finds 1, finds 2, and what precision. It's 10 seconds left on the clock. You gotta plant, you gotta do it now, and not gonna be able to find it as the kills go Page's way, and USF strike into double digits.
Yeah, as we were saying, there's no, we can see Bombaclat and Squirt, getting a lot of kills, but, no one's not playing their part. Everyone's playing a part of the team. Page is, always playing the clutch position of, winning the rounds that they need to win. When he was in the bomb site on offense, and he was just taking people off pick by pick. Everyone's playing such a useful position on this team. It'll be hard for Louisiana to come back on this.
Yeah, I think it'll be tough, but I mean, they're staring down 11 rounds, and on a save, I do much prefer, playing for that 11 round sort of, I guess, win condition as, Rizzo able to find 1 before the teleport. Squirt, though, able to get 1 and not able to find the placement for that one. Dancing around a little too much as initial picks do go the way of Louisiana. As now USF do commit the rotate, so we'll have to see if Louisiana also commits to this A site. Now Page stepping forward, might be able to see something, runs into Rizzo and does find the kill. Might not be ready for Drippy on the round the corner, but somehow finds the headshot. And now immediately swapping around this, and there's the ulti committed as well. Somehow runs through. There's the move speed. There's actually the move speed being used, as I don't think that they expect him to be around this corner. No one's watching it. No one's ready. And there's 1. There's 2. Page with the 4K around the corner. And USF put their 11th round on the board.
Just as we're talking about Page with those clutch moments, being able to take care of those players.
Oh, taking care of business. And now Louisiana, they're really on what feels like their potential last buy of... They're they have to buy out here, and it looks like they actually did do some buys last round, and looks like they are going to play for 12. I thought that they were playing for 11. Looks like they're playing for 12, where you do a half buy on this round, try to win it, but otherwise you just run it up after that, playing for overtime. So a few members flashed out. Bombaclat is going to know that there's a few members. Does spot him off that shoulder peek. Oh, Page, you got to have someone watching for him. Finds Rizzo off the flank. And, this is brutal.
Those are the kills you can't leave.
Those are the kills you can't just give away for free. You need to have someone watching that angle. As Page turns away, can't find Chobear, but still so far forward. They did spot him. Step forward, but now 4K going to peek out, finds Chobear. It's all up to Drippy, just a Prime Classic and Marshall in hand. Not much that you can do but wait and hope someone gives you a gun. It's USF playing patiently. Drippy stepping forward, does spot 4K Anderson, but does also give away his position.
Yeah, Silva should get this, on this hookah push.
Yeah, and there it is. Couple quick little taps. And Mango is going to find that last kill as Louisiana Tech, 6 rounds up, needs 6 more to force overtime as USF just need 1 more to finish this off. Oh, I didn't know they added these little, like, these little Easter eggs throughout the maps off this patch. That's really, really cool. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a little fun thing to like see during the matches.
Yeah, and you can read up on some lore, get some of that Viper trivia if you're, I don't know, doing a Valorant trivia night. But yeah, some good adjustments as now we're gonna have to see Squirt on the op. First time I've seen him this game, and I mean that is just some crystal clear op, just jet opping. You know, that's just the standard. As we are seeing the Seekers committed out of Louisiana Tech. Bomba just trying to throw out the util while it's possible, given that stim beacon to strike forward. Now we're going to see what he can do. Runs into the Odin, but Paged there to knock it down as 4K gets fully flashed. Can't do much about it. There's the second, there's the guiding light, and there's the kill from Bombaclat as it's all up to Drippy. Last one standing, and Anderson will finish it off. USF Green with a clean 2-0 in ECAC Open Week 5 up against Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, this was just a good showing from USF. What was the score that they ended on?
It was 13-6.
13-6. Okay, so we didn't get the was it the
no
jinx
curse?
for 5?
No jinx for 5. No jinx for 5.
Yeah.
But we were close.
Yeah, it was just a good showing from USF. Louisiana needs to work on some small things, but the gun show from USF, like the peeking, they're like team peeking, so like it would be easy trades. Just showed really well.
And I mean there were those little moments of team play we saw out of USF that worked really well, and just a couple oversights I felt that were present when it came to Louisiana Tech. You know, there was that one spot where I think Paige was just able to swing around, look at 4 of them, and take off 2 of their heads. You know, that should never be allowed, but happens sometimes. And if anything, I think it's a great match for Louisiana Tech to, you know, be able to build from, because they had a lot of great moments. They had some awesome things, but just weren't quite able to close it out.
Yeah, Louisiana was like their movement and the communication was like well shown out throughout the map. It was just like Squirt, Page, and Bombaclat like always taking over.
Yeah, just finding those moments to really shine, using their utility together. And honestly, I mean, it's great to see that the green team has, you know, that really incredible skill. But that's going to be it from us here today at USF Esports. Rishi, as always, an absolute pleasure. Happy to cast a game that's not COD with you for once. You know, switching things up. I'm loving it. Thank you so much to our producer, Garrett, for making everything work behind the scenes. All those little details you guys saw, you know, all those little bits of the overlay, that was all him making it work, making it look pretty. And, of course, thank you to all of our viewers out there, Louisiana Tech, USF Bulls fans, all of y'all. We appreciate you for being able to let us do what we love. But that is going to be it from us again. So, everyone, have a wonderful night.